Anahata Sanya Sam Uttete Namo Hariya Awadukete Shoraya Buddhisadvaya Mahasadvaya Mahakarunikaya Daliya Om Taratara Tiri Tiri Turu Turu Itiwe Iti Jare Jare Pura Jare Pura Jare Usume Usumawa Leiri Miri Chitti Tohara Mapanaya Shoha Namo Hariya Awadukete Shoraya Buddhisadvaya Mahasadvaya Mahakarunikaya Daliya Om Taratara Tiri Tiri Turu Turu Itiwe Iti Jare Jare Pura Jare Pura Jare Usume
General Mounts, General Countries, and ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to welcome you to this convention center. On behalf of the BCC UK President and the Executive Committee members and members, I would like to sincerely welcome you to this convention center. This is a great moral boosting for those Buddhists in the UK. So thank you, General, for sparing your very busy scheduled time and have made effort to come this place to visit us. This is great significance to us and for our morale. And we really, really appreciate your visit, and I would like to welcome you here, and I would like to President to formally welcome the General. And those, I think, some of you've already been here before. So please, those who not been here before, I would like to formally welcome you to the BCC UK. Technology sometimes overtake. Okay, once again, so so once again, welcome to your Buddhist Community Center UK. May I take a few minutes to introduce the Buddhist Community Center, founder of the Buddhist Community Center UK. And the Buddhist Community Center UK is established in 2007. The reason behind the establishment was initially because the Gurkhas serving the British Army for over 200 years. But until 2007, there was no Buddhist temple or Buddhist center for the armed forces or those who are serving or retired Gurkhas and their families. There was no temple or monastery of this kind. So once in 2002, I requested or some challenge to the Ministry of Defense. So there's two different term and conditions within the British Army, one for Gurkhas and one for normal British Army, which is a little bit unfair, still until unfair. But mostly there was no Buddhist monastery or temple anywhere within the MOD, within the MOD. So I challenged, requested the Ministry of Defense, but it took a long time. But mostly because I said at that time, because the Gurkhas in the British Army, mostly from the Himalayas area from the Nepal, and those people are mostly Buddhist. Although they were Buddhist, but according to the tripartite agreement between Nepal, India, and British, there was a sort of clause, the only Hindu can join the British Army. That sort of scenario. And well, I haven't seen the more detailed depth inside the tripartite agreement, but that's what we know. So until 2002, there was no temple, no Buddhist. And I sent a letter to the Ministry of Defense and the hierarchy of the headquarters of brigade workers, saying there's at least 60 to 70% soldiers, serving soldiers or retired soldiers are Buddhist, but they are put their name as Hindu because of they have no other choice other than putting Hindu in order to join the British Army. And then there's a little bit discussion, and the MOD or the headquarters brigade workers did some research. And initially they said, okay, there's 0%, no Buddhist in the British Army. And I say, still, there's 67%. Then we had a to and fro, lots of correspondence going on. And then, initially I had to prove there is at least the Buddhists serving in the brigade workers. So I requested the all the community leaders, Nepalese Gurkha community leaders, asking whether register is correct, whether their religion is Buddhist or Hindu. I'm not asking those Hindu to be Buddhist, but through their belief system, their faith. And later on, all the community leaders wrote me a letter saying, okay, some are 80% Buddhist, some are 100% Buddhist. He said that. I compiled all the letters and sent to the Secretary of Defense and a copy to the headquarters the commander in the headquarters of Brigade Workers. And later, I received a letter saying, okay, we're going to do a research. And in 3 months' time, I received a letter, okay, there's only 33% Buddhists. So, not a 60 or 70%. And I said, okay, initially, the headquarters of Brigade Workers was saying 0%, now you got 33%. So we need a monk for those 33% Buddhists serving in the British Army. And then later on, I got a letter from the Chief of Defense Staff and the Defense Minister saying, okay, we're going to employ 3 months in the armed forces. But 2 months, one is temperature, and the other is serving in the outer shore. And it's still, one is not 10. Although I have received letter, and this was about 2009, saying another month will be employed. But later on, there's a budgeting issue. But this is general kind of background general for you. I know you probably are aware of this. So, why this center is established? The first thing is, those retired and those Nepalese or those who are practicing the Himalayan traditional Buddhist, there's no center, so, like this. So in 2007, I started with 5 people, and initially it's quite difficult. In 2008, 4 of them left, and just me left. And then we started again, regroup committee, and 2010 we started another committee, and slowly build up. And 2012 we invited His Holiness Dalai Lama first time here in this center, and he blessed. And then in 2012, after his visit, we bought this property. This property was a derelict property, not used for 10 years. It was looking nothing like this one. We bought this one from the British Telecom and converted into Buddhist monastery. This is the UK. And later on, we invited to His Holiness Dilpo Khyentse Rinpoche, which is his past. Dilpo Khyentse Rinpoche was teacher of, quite the most important teacher of His Holiness Dalai Lama. He came and he consecrated the temple. Then in 2015, we invited His Holiness Dalai Lama again to inaugurate. So this temple has a quite great significance because of the most of the highly leader of the all lineages, and this is the very unique center because we welcome all this. This is not a sect or not a different sort of Mahayana, Vajrayana, or Theravada. This is the Buddhist center. So we welcome Venerable Bhante, we welcome monks, we welcome yogis, and this is the center for all Buddhists. And since then, we welcome and we got the blessing from His Holiness Dalai Lama, His Holiness Karmapa, His Holiness Dilpo Khyentse Rinpoche, and Sakya Trijang Rinpoche. These are the main lineage holder in the world for the Buddhists, and also Bhantes. So, in that sense, this is now regarded as a pilgrimage place. So, now we have in 2008 we registered this is as a charity commission, and this is charity organization, and we have more than 1,000 trustees members. We call trustees members who donated over £1,000 or contributed over £1,000 towards this center. So, and also we have almost 60,000 members, those who are interested in coming. And since its establishment or since its inaugurations, the visitors coming to this center is all walks of life, from children, mainly in the evening times, children school visit is almost every evening, and the companies like police, Surrey Police, Metropolitan Police, and Hampshire Police, CIT, all group here, come here in education, and the NHS, and different scouts, and the local people do come here. And overall, last year, Major Kushman just, did a calculation. Sometimes 17,000 visitors a year in the center. So we welcome all, anybody wish to come, and we integrate with the other faiths, and we closely working with the Muslim community and the Hindu community and the Christian community. So in order to build the community cohesion and interfaith cohesion. So in the near future, we are planning to do a sort of interfaith dialogue or interfaith sort of conversation or interfaith integration. So that's one of the agenda in near future. And also this is center for the armed forces Buddhists, like I always keep telling or saying to Dr. Sunil, always, this is your center, welcome to use as your conference, your meeting, your annual gathering, and this is, we are Sangha as a Buddhist Sangha, so this is for us, for everybody, not particularly Nepalese, not particularly Himalayan Buddhists, this is for all tradition. So, and now we are, every morning, we running a meditation, every Sunday morning. So, all also like people come from, people traveling from Southampton, people traveling from Reading, and people from Metropolitan Police come here to do the meditation. And the Major Hitman is running every Sunday meditation class here. So this is the center for all. So I will give you more, insight if you like to know later on, but this I won't take long. So later on after this event, I will take you all around the centers there upstairs and what we've been doing. So we are still under refurbishment as it being completed. Maybe we'll get fully building in operation in a couple of, in 1 month's time. So, but now what I would like to request is Venerable monks to quick, long life blessing and very successful for general. So, and I also like to congratulate on behalf of the BCC UK members, congratulate your promotion, and we would like to see you on the top of the general. Many congratulations. Please.
Before we start the blessing, can I just say thank you to Kaji and everybody here being here. It's already what a wonderful morning with all the friends that were. Actually, thank you for those of you who made such an effort to fly in from Inverness and India, from all distances, and Lama, he drove from 1 o'clock in the morning this morning. So it's amazing how we all came together this morning. This morning is primarily to actually bless our General, since he became the diversity champion for Buddhists. We managed to get an extra star on.
This is your plan all along.
So we're very pleased, and actually, and the amazing thing is that since you started leading us, the Defense Buddhist Network and the Defense Mindfulness Steering Group, and even we did an amazing international conference in Sri Lanka. Andrew will say a little bit more later on that. So we have done quite a lot of good work under your leadership. So we're all actually very privileged and very grateful for that. This ceremony is so special because, as Kaji said, all Buddhist traditions are represented here. Venerable monks, lamas, and even the Zen monks. Three main Buddhist traditions, and all of them, I really don't know how you all came together on a working day, early morning, like this. And thank you all for being here, driven long distances and so on. So, I'm not going to introduce every one of you or name you anything, but let's put our heads together. This is such a special place. I was sitting here when Dalai Lama was right in front of here on the day he opened this center, and ever since this place has been thriving. And what's so amazing is everywhere I go, I've been a Buddhist chaplain for the last 15 years, and the first question they ask is, "Are you the Gurkha Padre?" And without any hesitation, I say yes. Because there is so much goodwill, across the nation for the amazing Gurkhas and the, 200 years, the service you've done to this country and beyond. And I think it's amazing to see the community thriving and having a spiritual home. And so thank you for all your help and support. Without any hesitation, when I proposed this about a month ago, we said, oh, what a wonderful idea. So we all came together. So very briefly, I say this blessing ceremony, this is this is not to convert you or anything. Okay? So don't be worried when you see these colors. So it's actually, this is, being thankful and actually gratitude. The Buddha says these 4 sublime qualities, metta, loving kindness, karuna, compassion, mudita, the joy in success of others, upeksha, the equanimity. Now these 4 sublime qualities are the qualities of the great creator, the Brahma. And the Buddha said, we human beings, are naturally disposed for being able to develop these qualities in our hearts. Good friendship and compassion for others and joy in success of others and equanimity. And this is actually the whole blessing centers around those 4 Brahma Viharas, the sublime qualities of the Brahma. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a bit naughty to ask the Venerable monks and everybody to keep the blessings very short. Maybe maximum 2 minutes. Because we hope to actually have a meeting afterwards. And the General has been very kind to give us little time, but I know you have to get back to a meeting afterwards. So let's keep the blessings very short. And after from 4 traditions, the Theravada tradition, the Himalayan tradition, the Zen tradition, and also the Plum Village tradition, I think is also part of the Mahayana. So, or whoever else who wanted to actually say a blessing for 1 minute, please feel free to do so. So let me invite the Venerable wants to start.
Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada soti bhavantu te Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada soti Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada soti bhavantu te Ichitang pachitam tviham hipameva samijyatu Sabbe purendra citta samkappa chando pannaso yata ayurarogya sampatti sabya sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti vinate samijatu
I'm just coming to the front of the top, then building. This is a Heart Sutra. Magahanya Haramita Shingyo Kanji Zaibo Zagyojin Hanya Haramita Jisho Kengoan Kaikudo Isai Kuyaku Sharishi Shiki Fui Kuku Fui Shiki Shiki Zokuze Kuku Zokuze Shiki Juso Yoshiki Yakubu Nyoze Sharishi Ze Shoho Fujo Fujo Fumetsu Fuku Fujo Fuzo Fugen Ze Kokuchu Mushiki Muju Sogyo Shiki Mugen Nibi Zeshin I Mushiki Shoko Mizoku Ho Mugen Kai Naishi Muri Shiki Kai Mumu Myoyaku Mumu Myojin Naishi Muroshi Yaku Muroshi Jin Mukushu Metsudo Muchi Yaku Mutoku Mushotoko Bodai Sata Ehanya Paramita Koshin Mukege Mukege Komu Ukufu Onri Isai Tendo Muso Kyugyo Nehan Zanze Shobosue Hanya Paramita Kotoku Anoku Tara Zanyaku Zambodai Kochi Hanya Paramita Zedai Jinshu Zedai Yoshu Zenu Joshu Zenu Todoshu Mogyate Gyate Hara Gyate Haraso Gyate Boji Soaka Hanya Shingyo
Thank you.
Thank you, monks. Thank you. Thank you for
Just one more. This is 1 minute.
1 minute. Okay.
Sure?
It's a Buddhist minute, yeah?
Yes, yes.
You never know what Sunil's going to surprise you with.
Are you never going to surprise me?
Sunil asked me to share a short meditation. In our tradition, where we share the same ancestor as Keith, in terms of Zen Master Linji, the tradition spread to Japan, to Keith's tradition, through Vietnam, to my tradition, through the Nante tradition and the Yukon. Venerable Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh shared with us from the records of Zen Master Linji from the year 850 CE, practice gatha to guide our meditation. Breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. Breathing in, my breath becomes deep. Breathing out, my breath becomes slow. Breathing in, I feel calm. Breathing out, I feel at ease. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I release all tensions and worries. Breathing in, I am aware I am alive in this present moment. Breathing out, I know this is a wonderful moment. That short gatha we express as a song, which we can use when we walk. And in our tradition, we are known for our song. In the West, it's easy for us to learn gathas when we attach them to a melody, and I think that was a great teaching. So I'd like to offer you that as a song now. And our song in the Plum Village tradition simply goes, in, out, deep, slow, calm, ease, smile, release, present moment, wonderful moment.
Thank you for everybody. Thank you. So now I think it's ready for tea time again. I think right. So those who have not been to round, General Sir would like to say something, please.
Well, I was really keen to come this morning, and we were talking earlier about that I'm a bit busy. Busy at the moment because we're going through a process of sorting out the defence budget, so this is probably the busiest time. But that's why I wanted to come. I wanted to come because we're so busy that I needed to step away and just stop, and that's why it was really important that I made time. And if somebody said to me, you can say one thing about this morning, I would say, well, I've got quite a few things I wanted to say very briefly, but one thing that I would say, incredible hospitality, incredible welcome. And people have come from far and wide to be here together for us. And it gives a sense of tremendous humility and introspection when people do that. And you know, I'll walk away. I'll never forget this morning in that hospitality and the welcome that I've been given. We've all been given. But there are lots of other reasons why I'm so keen to help as the Armed Forces Buddhist champion with Sunil and with others. One of them is because I'm a Royal Marine, and Royal Marines have a certain close identity, and Gurkhas are the same. They have a bond, and Royal Marines have a bond, and across the military there are bonds, and there are different bonds, whether it be in the Royal Air Force, or parts of the Army, in the Navy. There's something about the Royal Marines brand, and there's something about the Gurkha brand. And I'm deeply respectful of the Gurkha brand, both as a brand but also as a fighting force. I wouldn't want to come up against the Gurkhas in the middle of the night. But something we were talking about on the way here, Jen, was that I was on a course in the London Business School about a year ago up in Regent's Park, and they said the best leaders are the ones that are the most self-aware and the ones that are the most aware of other people. And I think that's so true. Some people get quite senior in the military or in life and they stop listening because I've reached this place, so I must be so important, I must be so right, I must speak and you must listen. But that's just so wrong. It's the other way around. And I think on my learning journey of Buddhism, particularly mindfulness, it's the awareness of oneself and awareness of other people is so important. And as leaders, as we are in the military, or supporting the military, or former military, I think we all regard ourselves as leaders, and I think there's a lot we can take from this community to ensure that we're self-aware and aware of others. The other thing about that, and again as leaders, is to inculcate a culture of inclusivity. And if you want to be a leader in the military or a leader in society, the people that will follow you are the people that feel that they're a part of you and that you're a part of them, and you will listen to them and they will listen to you. You're not separating them out because of race or creed or culture. That doesn't matter. Or sexuality. But you accept an inclusive culture. I'm interested in you, and you're interested in me for the way we are, not from where we've come from. Even though that's important too, to understand that. But that feeling of inclusivity and that people feel included is really important. And again, I think this culture, from what I'm learning, I think that's at the heart of it, isn't it? That's the heart of understanding and being inclusive of others, and to listen and to understand. And thank you for your humble congratulations on my next job. I'm going to be the Deputy Commander of a reasonably new organisation called Joint Forces Command, but on Monday it will become Strategic Command because it's taking a number of extra roles to do with space and cyber, additional intelligence and information functions, and it feels that it needs a Deputy Commander at a new post. So I went yesterday to a sort of launch event of Strategic Command with my commander, General Patrick Sanders, my new commander. I don't start the job for another couple of weeks. And they talked about inclusivity, but one of the things they talked about, and I wrote it down because I think it's relevant to this morning, we need to be able to display our best behaviours at the worst of times. In other words, no matter what's going on around you, stay calm, and bring out the best in yourself and bring out the best in others. That's when it's hard. It's easy to be pleasant when things are going well, but when things are going badly and your back is against the wall, still be the same, still be magnanimous, still listen. And I think, again, this culture seems to help me with that. And again, makes me a better person and makes us better leaders, particularly in our military profession, where we must be calm under pressure. We must execute those best behaviours and inspire people when we're under the most pressure. And that leads, of course, directly to mindfulness. It's the corollary from what I'm learning about Buddhism. And as we've been talking about the Defence Mindfulness Steering Group and what we're trying to do with that, and trying to inculcate that feeling of understanding and calmness throughout the armed forces, whether we be civilians or military. And it's linked to well-being. And I think we are steadily overcoming this culture in the military that if I show mental weakness, that I'm weak. If I show a side of my character where I'm struggling, my mental well-being is not what I want it to be. If I expose that to you, that makes me weak. And I think we're beginning to overcome that. It's not weak, it's strong. The strongest thing is to stand in front of you and say, well, I really struggled 5 or 6 years ago on this operation or that operation. And I think we had a very good mindfulness conference earlier this year where some very, very brave people, warriors, stood up and said, I really struggled, in front of over 100 people. That's braver, or as brave, as some of the things that people were doing on operations and in their daily lives. And so being able to bring that out and talk about struggles or successes and to appreciate those difficulties with people and help people, I think is a really important thing, both in the military but in society at large. And it helps us prepare, all of this helps us prepare, I'm going to be a bit parochial as a military officer, it helps us prepare for operations, because it helps us prepare for the stresses and strains where things don't always go well on operations. We know that, I know that, and some pretty nasty things can happen, and we've got to be prepared for that, and being calm and mindful really helps, and being able to deal with extreme stress is very important, and I think Buddhism and mindfulness really helps with that, and I want to learn more. But of course this whole thing comes back full circle. I'm a very keen, as I've said before, a very keen mountaineer, and I've climbed a lot in Scotland in the winter, I've climbed in the Alps, and of course I've climbed in Nepal, and I've climbed big mountains in Nepal, and I'll always remember walking up to the base camps and the children, namaste, and that calmness. I remember the puja ceremonies and the blessing of the mountain and the flags, taking a Nepalese flag to the summit of Gimigela, 7,500 metres, in the shadow of Kanchenjunga. And so I felt imbued with that culture, but I needed it too on that mountain, because I needed to calm down. And therefore it works for me in all ways, in all walks of life. But I just want to stress how privileged, I sincerely feel privileged to be here, and I feel enriched by being here. I can ask one thing, and that's please invite me back.
Sharing your thoughts. Great. For us, for moral boosting and encourage us to do more to serve the community and to make more peaceful and calm. And right, it's touring. So this is the main hall, and we have 3 statues there. The center is the main Buddha. And we have that from us as a past Buddha. We call Charanjit as a compassionate Buddha. That's a manifestation of compassionate Buddha. And so I think it's better. More okay.
First and foremost, welcome to the Buddhist Community Center UK. And as Kaji already mentioned, that this monastery has been consecrated and blessed by His Holiness Dalai Lama. And if I make it short, then the highly regarded the luminaries of the Tibetan traditions, there's actually, in ancient times, there's 8 traditions, but now the 4 tradition is remained. So the supreme leader of the four order of the Tibetan Buddhist masters has been actually invited here, and then they have blessed. So due to this, we consider this as not an ordinary place, but it is very much extraordinary in the sense of spiritualism, in the sense of the respect and then faith. So therefore, we have a statue, the three statues we bought from Nepal, but these three statues is filled up with the many holy objects, such as Buddha's relics, and then many objects, including all the required mantras of peace, which dispel the obstacles and which will actually help you to fulfill the wishes. So therefore, and then after the performing rites and rituals and ceremonies of consecrations, so this is just a representative of Buddha. Those who sees, they will get the liberation by sight. Those who remember this, they will get the liberation by remembering. Those who hear the sounds of the mantras and prayer, they will get the liberation by listening. So therefore, all the blessings is actually contained and then embodied in the three statues. So three statues can be recognized as a Samanda Buddha, Amitabha Buddha, and then the Arya Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of the compassion, and then Guru Padmasambhava, the Buddha of the power. So actually, in the ultimate state, the Buddha is like a space. So that is considered as a Dharmakaya, so which represents the middle one. And then but we cannot actually see the space, we cannot feel the space. But somehow we have to experience this space. So manifestation of the Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings is actually the Lokeshwar, or the God of compassion, or the Buddha of compassion. And then the Buddha of who is known as a second Buddha as well. So in this very degeneration time, in difficult times, so Buddha actually manifested in a form of wrathful, powerful sense of manifestation. So that is Guru Padmasambhava. So therefore, from the space, the moon or the sun appear is a manifestation of Sambhogakaya. And then the reflection of the moon and sun you can see in the pond or the water is like a Guru Padmasambhava. So therefore this three is actually considered as a three, the form of Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So therefore, in order to get the blessings from Buddha, so we have to take refuge in the Guru Padmasambhava, as he is directly connected with us due to the time, due to the demand, due to the karma, and so on and so forth. So therefore, we invoke the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas' blessings by performing his, the way of the explanation of the Buddha's teachings and so on and so forth. So, and then beside this, and then so you can see that there is the 100 plus, I think, the volumes. These are the Buddha's work. So in ancient times, Buddha actually gave the teachings, and after that, they did actually manage to, write it down in Pali and Sanskrit canon. And then in 8th century, early 8th century, until 12th century, so the great Tibetan masters went to India, and then they learned the Pali and then Vajrayana, the Sanskrit, those actually Buddhism was preserved at that time. They managed to translate into the Tibetan, so which is until today, which is preserved in the 100 plus. Some has 108, some has 103 due to the different publication. So therefore, this is called the words of Buddhas. In Sanskrit, in Pali, you can see Tripitaka. So, and then here, there's another actually commentaries, the commentaries of the words of Buddha by the Tibetan masters. And there's actually thousands and thousands of the texts are available. It's actually commentaries to make it simple to be understood. So therefore, and then we have the origin traditions, and then the sub-traditions from different traditions, which is preserved here. So this is actually very unique. So thank you very much for coming here, and we're looking forward to see your successful career in the future, and wish you all the best.
Thank you. Okay. May I guide you upstairs, General, and those who are wish to come, please? And this is the way
Yeah, we went upstairs. We're just walking on.
When will it be open?
when we got a gas connection and when we get the certificate.
Yeah.
So probably within a month.
Within a month, yeah.
And we have a monk accommodation now. So before,
What's this for?
this is the monk accommodation.
Oh, okay.
These are the,
Yeah.
this is the office.
Yeah.
And that's one monk accommodation, and this is another one.
And do you think these will be working? And this is
The residential monk will be coming in here, 2 months always.
Okay.
So, and we have
Do you know who they will be?
we have already 2 there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And we bring monks every 6 months. So we just rotating. So they're all from and so we have another guest room here. So those the high monks, high lamas, just coming from Nepal.
Yeah.
So this is the hall.
And when I was talking to Sunil about Christmas time and Sri Lanka, is there any observation of Christmas time by the Gurkhas?
Yeah. We do prayers and we during the Dasai.
Yeah.
Here we come here to do prayers for all the sacrifice.
On Christmas Day? Or?
Yes, we do as well. Christmas Day we come gather here and do some prayers and so and also quite a lot.
And Lochar.
Yeah. So this is one of our guests. There's Rinpoches are coming from Nepal, and so we are going to sit in the bed and
When do you think they'll be here?
so it will be within the month now. Within the month, Lama will move in here. The monks.
And is it as popular for, is the temple as popular for serving Gurkhas as much as it is retired Gurkhas?
Mostly around here, retired Gurkhas and families, and also serving Gurkhas. I encouraging to the monk in Orishad Garrison to come on Sunday morning, bring their people, because there is no Buddhist temple in the garrison here. So I said, welcome to, whoever wants to come to the temple or monastery, they are welcome here anytime. So sometimes they have to come. Sometimes. Here for all the sort of birth ceremonies and the marriages and funerals. Last year, sometimes in a day, there are 5 marriages, wedding ceremony here in a day.
A lot of cake.
A lot of cakes.
Who does the wedding? Who does the wedding
The
ceremony?
Lama.
The monks.
And we have a authority to register.
Is that then legal?
Legal
Marriage?
Yeah, legal
Right.
marriage. We can provide a certificate, which is now that's recognized by the council. And so then we took some training and what to do and how to fill the forms, and so then we can register everything here. Then we hand the document to the marriage register office. So
And are most of the, because I was asking some questions when I went to see the Gurkhas, the logistics Gurkhas, are most of the marriages with the young Gurkhas, are they arranged marriages or are they?
Not now, but although this seems to look like an arrangement, but at the moment they are sort of
And are they?
Twice themselves.
Yeah, right. And is it girls that they met in Nepal and then bring over?
Yeah.
Rather than meet.
Some are here. They do meet some are here, then they go back to Nepal. They get married and come back here.
Oh, they get married back in Nepal rather than
But still, that depends on their family circumstances. But some are still in married here.
Okay.
Married here.
And do any of the Gurkha, do any of the Gurkha soldiers marry English girls?
I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, many.
Before,
Yeah.
By the way, before 2002,
Very good idea.
if anyone get married with other nationality, they are not able. They are not allowed.
Before 2002.
Yeah.
But now it's okay.
Now it's okay. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
even in the officer, British officer,
Yeah.
who married Nepalese female,
Yeah.
they are out of the army.
Really?
Yes. Even the major, one major and one colonel who married Nepalese, and then they are out.
This was, remember in the House of Commons, it was mentioned, and there was.
Hamis Adam, you want an example? Hamis Adam, Colonel Hamis Adam.
Yes.
Hamis. Yes.
Yeah. They married the Filipino.
Okay. So yes, that's the situation before.
Yeah.
But not now.
Not now.
That's changed now.
But it's not very common
Not very common.
Not very common.
because it's quite a tight community here. Yeah.
It is.
is
The
good.
workers are, quite tight, but now, but learning from other tradition, other, culture, it's quite difficult to learn big culture here and, mingle with and digest everything. But slowly, when I first joined the place, I struggled quite a lot.
In what way?
Different ways. First thing is the culture. And the second thing is language.
Yeah.
And the third one is law and procedure. So all three comes in my head together, while my colleagues or my students, my friends are just university graduate, come there, just learn law and procedure. But I have to learn the culture, the British culture, understand the street level language, and also the law and procedure. It's like the same thing. Those workers and the settling here, they are facing the same things. They have to learn the culture, they have to learn the language, and also the law and procedure in this country.
Yeah.
So, but now, almost settled.
Yeah. But there are Gurkha restaurants here. There are
Yes.
Gurkha,
Many.
supermarkets.
Yeah, many.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. Busy?
I shouldn't be saying I'm busy to you.
It would be a good idea to have a short meeting with everybody's blessing, of course. I guess actually before we start, maybe in 10 seconds, if each one of you can say who you are, what you do, and and also say where you came from today. Yeah? Can we start from this end?
Joe Hopkins, I'm a member of the Defence Buddhist Network. I came from Lynham today. Oh, sorry, I came from Swindon. I work at Lynham at the School of Army